Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovebneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Just got new tires put on my car today.
You did? I didn't see you leave the office.
I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Welcome into The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into the Breeze. Harrison Arns, DP, no Haas Tabrizi just yet, but we got us on a Sunday. We do got college hoops on the brick and mortar, so if you're listening to us, congratulations. That means you found the streams or the ticket app. But as always, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961, all great ways to put a face to the voice. Also engage in the conversation. Sorry, Heyman, text line still open. DP, how's it going? I know you're back in the home territory.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of days out here taking care of family and checking in on friends and et cetera. DC is cold right now. It is cold. Got some pretty good weather late last night. Haven't really adapted, so trying to figure it all out, bro. But it's been a good trip. Seen a lot of the gang. Actually, spent some time last night in Maryland. There's a comic friend who came to Lincoln and put on quite the show. Brett Ernst. Well, he was performing here in the area last night, so went and spent the night with him, hanging out and sharing stories. 4 sold-out crowds. Working on bringing him back to Lincoln for folks who missed him the first time and folks who saw him the first time to come back. He's currently ranked as one of the top 5 touring comedians, and there's a reason. He's bona fide. He's pretty legit. But I've been keeping track of Huskers sports and all the goings on. Shout out to Austin Orman for his work from Mesa, Arizona, and covering Husker baseball. Of course, they have Game 3 today. And then paying attention to softball and wrestling. Wrestling's got a big one today. Great performance Friday night. Shout out to Caleb Smith for his coverage and breakdown post-wrestling match. And then a further shout out that Harrison, that as we expand and we grow, and that's what we're doing, that there will be additional coverage for post games for baseball and softball going forward. So Nick Wyman and Tristan Gomes, and of course we'll have Rudy Grez around as well. So it's that time. It's activation time, and a lot of the sports that's in play. They're giving us lots to talk about. Softball is legit. Baseball looks like everything that they were hyped up to be. Wrestling finding their form, their February and March form, which is important to them. And of course, basketball on both sides. Big day for Husker women tomorrow, and then Husker men back at home with a big one on Tuesday. So, Harrison, it's busy, bro. It's good. It's really fortunate that we have the sports thing so we can actually talk about it.
Oh, DP, I've been giddy. This has been awesome down here. And not just the weather, which, by the way, showed up in shorts again this morning. It's 65 degrees, I think, is where we're heading later today. And couldn't be happier. But it's also just been a lot of sunshines and rainbows for a lot of the sports as well. You know, you look at the softball squad. I know they're sitting there at 5-4, but anybody who understands the competition that they've been going against, and they got number 1 Texas Tech up here next, it's a good 5-4. Obviously, you want to stay undefeated, but you know, if you want to host regionals, especially if you're in the Big Ten, you got to schedule tough early, and that's what you see the men doing, and that's certainly what you see the women doing. And the women right now are holding serve in softball and that big test. If they get a win versus Texas Tech tomorrow, that's huge. That'll carry a ton of weight going forward. And on the men's side, they're sitting there 2-0, and Ty Horn, he came out, he looked phenomenal. So you like what you're seeing off the bump. And then wrestling, you mentioned it already, but shout out to the guys. I got Ridge Lovett joining me today. Caleb Smith's got some business to attend to, but you know, I talked to him. He should be a bigger part of the mix. So if you're a big Caleb Smith fan, be sure to stay around for those wrestling post match. But we will have Ridge Lovett, and they got another big one. But I'll tell you what, DP, that wrestling program, we said it earlier, and I always refer to Tulsa with the national duels because that's when the conversation, not within the locker room, not within that team, but certainly some of the media talking heads out there were maybe looking a little bit too down on Nebraska. And you would hear from the guys, Mark Banning as well. That's not the time you want to be at your best. You want to keep looking better as the season goes on. And they certainly get a 47-0 win over Northwestern. And I don't care who it is. That's a Big Ten opponent. That's huge on senior day at home. And then you go look at the next one versus Illinois. You get a statement road win, and you dominate those guys on top of it. Antrell Taylor gets another top 10 win. just incredible stuff. And you're seeing the guys continuing to get better as the season goes on. And you also had Ohio State and Penn State, a 1v2 matchup that same night with Illinois and Nebraska. And I'll tell you what, I can't tell you that Ohio State has necessarily gotten better as the season's gone on the same way that Nebraska has, because they did not look great in that. They only had their two-time champ Mendez get the only win of the night for that 5 points, but it was all Penn State after that. So when you kind of look around the landscape of wrestling, not say that Ohio State can't be there or some of these other teams can't get into that postseason form, you really do like the way that Nebraska wrestling in particular is looking, as it just feels like they're getting better each week, and the results are really starting to show up in big ways.
Well, I mean, proximity is knowledge, and that's why it's so important that we at the Ticket spend our time and our energy learning these sports at a greater level and depth than previous, and that's bowling, wrestling, gymnastics. Shout out to Ty Rodriguez for his win yesterday for men's gymnastics. But knowledge, we knew. I mean, I remember you and I talking while I was at Tulsa, and I said, "This is not it.
Yeah,
this is not it. This is not the thing. This is the awakening. This is when you learn all the work, and this is when you become more coachable. You listen a little bit better because you figure out that actually we don't know everything, and coaches are smarter than the athletes. And hey, let's work this thing out. And then having a GPS and having a plan that we forgot. If we hadn't gone through it last year to recognize the early season losses in Vegas, the early season success in Vegas, the early season losses to Northern Iowa, and then forming its full self and version for Big Tens and NCAAs. That's like, we saw it. We saw it in real time. We saw it unscripted. We saw it where you couldn't plan it. You couldn't guess that this is what was going to happen. You just had to trust the process. When they say trust the process, this is the process that we're talking about. And I was thinking of this with men's basketball and softball in particular, baseball as well. Lance Harvell talks about that their mission was to be better at the Big Ten tournament NCAAs than they were early in the year. And people doubted that and didn't understand it. And, but quite frankly, the last two seasons, they were right. They were right. It was way more important for them to play well in the Big Tens and NCAA than it was for them to play some of these in-week games that take place. Their seeds planted and flags planted and let you know direction, timetable, and et cetera. But for wrestling, we understood that, okay, the process is fluid. These are folks who came here and came back here to win more titles at the end of the year. Wasn't to win titles in December and January. Would have been nice, but the real thing, the legacy stuff, happens in February and March for this wrestling program. It's interesting just to watch Trelli go through his growth, Mento go through it, and of course AJ Ferrari. Like we've had those one-on-one conversations with AJ, and you watch his maturity through the process, his learning what it was going to take to be in the Big Ten, because this is his first year in the Big Ten and his first year at heavyweight. So for him to have the success that he's having is such a huge monumental statement, bro, that we get to watch it. And then we have Ridge Lovett, national champion, and Caleb Smith, a multiple-time All-American, break it down for us. Even Mark Manning to come in and just whisper, hey, trust the process, because the process is right. They know what they're doing. They're putting in the quality work, and it shows up in the results.
It's incredible getting that insight too, especially, because I was talking with Caleb Smith on Friday in the post match, and, him talking about AJ Ferrari, he was just showing me certain positions, and he's like, nobody's getting out of this except for AJ Ferrari. And it just talks about the incredible strength that guy has. So your point, we all knew he's a great wrestler, but the Big Ten in wrestling is just another animal. I mean, it's not only you're going to get tough matches, it's every week get ready, because even an unranked guy isn't a nobody in a lot of these matchups you're going to get. And then Antrell Taylor, I mean, he's become cardiac Taylor down the stretch here, but he's in control of a lot of these matches. And I know Brock Hardy had a clip out there too that went, viral. He's breaking down his matches and hearing him break it down. But you kind of seen that same thing with Antrell Taylor, where he's got a lot of patience and he knows exactly down the stretch when it's tight what he needs to do to secure a win. And again, versus Illinois, another last second takedown, waited at the right moment, right when he needed it, gets an ankle pick, drops him, 3 points takedown. You could see it on the Illinois wrestler's face. I mean, he was shaking his head, but it's tough to go against that guy. And then Minto, he might have some of the best defense on this team, and that's not to disparage anybody else. And I feel confident saying that because that's what those guys will tell me, right? You talk about that proximity, and he's just a monster out there when you want to, go at him offensively because you think he's playing a little bit too defensive, he'll turn that defense into offense on you. So again, I'm feeling really good about the way this team's looking at this point into the season. I don't think runner up again is anything to scoff at. This team looks just as good, if not better, than what they did last year. And that says a lot, knowing how much talent they had in this previous season. There's still a couple weight classes at 125. We talk about it all year where you're kind of waiting to see. And I know they're maybe thinking about moving 133 around a different weight, but I mean, DP, I don't want to put expectations on this team, but for me, this feels like no one should be surprised that this might be one of the talking points once again when they get in that postseason play.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality was like last year, they were surprised. They were surprised. None of the other Big Ten schools really expected Nebraska to go to Big Tens and perform the way they did. They just didn't. I'm not sure that Nebraska expected to perform the way they did at Big Tens. But what Big Tens allowed were for them to change their eyes a little bit and change their taste buds a little bit, right? Because that season cleansed the palate, and then you went into Big Tens hungry. You could actually figure out what it was. And remember, in both of those big tournaments, things didn't go particularly the way Nebraska would have preferred to start. They were taking some losses early and had to regroup and rebound. So this thing that is, whatever it becomes, I say this to the wrestlers themselves, just go on the ride. Like, just be present. Like, go through the thing. Don't miss anything. Don't get out over your skis. Don't have your eyes forward to your next bout or your next opponent. Nope. Enjoy the ride. That's when you talk to Caleb and Ridge about it, it is the ride that they went through in their careers and in any particular season, and more specifically in any match, that if you're just present, you just enjoy the thing, which is why I remind basketball fans, man, enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the ride, that each game is a story. Each game is its own chapter. We don't know how it ends. We're not supposed to. And listen, some of the best movies and books ever written didn't end the way that the reader preferred. Doesn't mean it wasn't perfect as it was, right? It doesn't mean that if you miss it, you go through it. This is amazing that Nebraska, think about this. Nebraska softball is 5-4, and they faced 6 of the top 12 teams in the country.
Yeah.
And belonged in every one. So as they evolve and form, because remember, they're new. This is a new lineup, new talent, new pieces in play. They're going to look different in April and May. That's going to be impressive. Like, this is for all of these programs. Bowling, they're going through their transition, right, to figure out who's going to carry the mail for them. And they've got a big week next week. So for bowling fans, the week of hype begins. You need to get people out to the event in Lincoln next week to show out for one of the premier bowling programs in the country.
Yeah, that big right invite coming up, and we say it all the time. Free entry. You don't got to pay anything to get in there. And if you get in there, you got a good chance of walking away with some goodies. I mean, they'll do giveaways at this. They try to make it a fanfare full event. And something to highlight too, this is going to be different than some of the Big Red invites of years prior. They got some dogs coming in here. Well, I shouldn't call it, I didn't say maybe dogs, but they got some great bowling programs coming in there. I'll tell you that much. I mean, it's not to disparage teams of previous years, but this is a year where they've scheduled some really great opponents, teams that you're very likely to see in Vegas when it matters most. So if you want to go see what the best bowling looks like at that level, this is your opportunity to do so, and it's free entry to go check them out. Like I said, free giveaways. Day Sunday, if you want to go for the fierce competition when they're deciding who's going to win it all, but you just go there Friday or Saturday. DP, I was there with you when they had it last time, and you can have eyes on everything. I mean, there's multiple matches going on at the same time to go check it out. And like I said, those giveaways are fun. I don't know what they all have, but I feel like they give away a Husker bowling ball every year. So if that's your cup of tea, check it out. If you're not sure, go still check it out. And same thing with the men and women's tennis program. We got Ray Aliko on a show now as well, and she's on Saturdays. She's been phenomenal, and she'll break it down for you. But there's just a lot of good. And we didn't even mention beach volleyball starting up. And shout out Arden Lockheim for all the great work she does. She had on Terea Sigler, and Sigler got to break it down, that beach volleyball, what it looks like. It's a different brand. I mean, there's a lot of new things, and you see unique pairings where you get some of those freshmen, and Jalen Reyes talked about it. They understandably aren't going to be the loudest voice in the locker room as they're feeling things out. This will give you a chance to get eyes on it and see some of those volleyball players. How do they handle the spotlight when it's just one teammate that you're working with, and then you got the weather, it's slightly new, you're in the sand, but you get some new leadership out there as well when those things are going on. So it's a lot of fun out here. I mean, I say it all the time now on Late Night with Nick Wyman, 18 hours a day, DP. It's unbelievable how we've talked about when this place started, and now it's just a flood of information. If you love Husker athletics and Husker sports, we got you covered. I mean, pick a sport. It's going to be in that 18 hours when we start talking about it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, to make it accessible, to allow you to care for the things that you care about, to talk about the things that you want to talk about over the course of the day, you get to figure this out, and you get to learn how good the bowling program is, how hard the gymnasts work, both men's and women's. And we certainly do not shout out the track program enough because they're loaded. Axelina's off. She won her event yesterday. They got 3 titles yesterday in the big event. And she's one of the best in the world, let alone the country. She's one of the best in the world on every watch list for collegiate track, outdoor track this season. So there's several stories to be told. This is Throwers University. Nebraska produces some of the great throwers in the country. So lots to talk about in the space. There's lots of advancement, a lot of growth. And the cool part is that as the programs and schools get more open to sharing their journey and their story, it allows us to tell that story in greater form and greater detail. So it's pretty spectacular to watch. And then the next step is to get back in the game with women's basketball, to get that thing rolling where it is. They're close. They're close. They're not there yet, but they're close. And it won't take much in the growth for them to advance and step to the next level. But they're also the program that, listen, they were playing their best basketball at the Big Ten tournament. Like Bert Prince put everybody on their heels at the Big Ten tournament last year and had UCLA on the ropes and an opportunity to knock them off. So I think this is a great time for Nebraska athletics. It's a great time for the spring folks and the end of the winter folks. But we will not bury the lead. The lead story is still men's basketball. At 22-3, let's talk about yesterday's game. Let's talk about what's next for them, and then go through and kind of build up because we're almost about to reboot high school basketball in full. So there's lots to talk about there as well. So lots to talk about here on the Breeze. Shout out to Haas. He's out coaching. So bravo to the young man and his young people and what they're doing today.
Well said. And great lead off. We will throw it to break. Husker men's basketball up next. I got a win over Northwestern, like you said. And the road's not done yet. We'll talk about what it looks like for those guys. Don't go anywhere. This is The Breeze. Harrison Arns, DP. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time. That's why we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, salt every fry, squeeze every lemon, and brew every ounce. We do this inside every Raising Cane's, every day. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in, and this is The Breeze. Harrison Arns still on the ones and twos, as always, come Sunday mornings and early into the evenings. We got DP, the boss man, streaming in. Let's talk some Husker hoops here. Nebraska basketball, men's basketball gets another win, 68-49 over Northwestern. That puts them at 22 wins and only 3 losses and 11-3 in the Big Ten. Meanwhile, Northwestern still struggling a little bit in the Big Ten, 2-13, but the scores and how close some of the games might not reflect how their Big Ten record actually looks. DP, what were your just initial thoughts at the end result of that win over Northwestern?
Well, I have to keep reminding people that this is a defense first team. That is the ultimate part of the culture, the new culture that is their ability to put people in difficult situations offensively. And to be able to do that consistently. And then what I know is the better the defensive numbers, then the more productive and creative the offense becomes. This team feeds off of its defensive success, and then it transitions, and that momentum goes into offense. And it can work either way. It can work either way, right? That if the Huskers are having a really good shooting night, they play better defensively because they're less stressed. There's less duress, right? Because they're building leads and there's space for error, so they play a little bit more freely. But to hold Northwestern to 25% from 3, 20% for the game, right? That Northwestern was held to 1-3 in the second half. That is purposeful and intentional for Nebraska, and to make difficult shooting happen, taking away best spots on the floor, not allowing the best players to get the ball where they want it, to do what they want to do with it. And then the headline for some was the numbers on the boards. And while that is true, being 40-24, plus 16 on the boards for the Huskers after the rebounding beat down they took the previous night out, just means coachable moments happen. They learned. They made some adjustments. Folks like to say that rebounding is effort. Yes, but rebound also requires that you have some skill. It requires that you have some size, right? Listen, Sam gets to 5 loose balls off the glass, but if you want Sam to get in there and bang with people, that's a different thing that you're asking of him. He's not going to be good at that. If folks are missing shots, they can get into the space and get some work done. The turnover game was important yesterday. It said some things, but here's what it told me. That even when you're not playing your best game, can you find success? Can you find ways to grind, right? You're short 19 possessions. What can you do with the good possessions? And the efficiency mattered. Like the offensive efficiency mattered. Listen, when Sanford has it going, this is just a really good team, right? And if anybody else has it going, yesterday Sam had it going, at least when he could get into the paint and get things done. But if you're going to put up if Sam's going to put up those type of numbers, Nebraska's going to be in a pretty good spot. Now, I'm not sure you want to ask him to do that every day in the Big Ten, but it's important. I mean, this is a 14, 7, and 5, and 4. This is a full stat stuffer night for Sam Hoiberg. Do you want to rely on that, count on that? I mean, listen, if he gives you 14 points on 8 shots, it's a good night. It's a good night. Sanford took 21 shots, and it leads me to the question. One, Rick Bass took 4 shots. So feeding the hot player makes more sense. Don't force it to Rink and force him to take shots on a night when he maybe is not feeling it. Don't rely on Frager to do this thing if he's not feeling it. Cale Jacobson might have been the star of the game. He might have been the star of the game. I mean, we got what we expected from Price. We kind of know what we expect from Sam. The one person on the roster that Northwestern couldn't scout for was Cale Jacobson. If we said before the game that DeMarcus, Rink, and Berkay would all only make 1 field goal, we'd have circled it in red ink and said, okay, that's another L. That's an L. But no, think about that. We couldn't even put that. Harrison, we could have went to Vegas with those numbers. That DeMarcus, Rink, and Berkay would combine for 3 field goals the whole game. We would say
that'd be
right?
That'd be plus 5,000 odds. We'd have a lot of money in our pockets.
Right. I mean, craziness. But this team, and team being the operative and the focus on a night where, quite frankly, it's not happening. Sam took 8 shots. Cale took 7 shots. Cale took as many shots as Frager. That's amazing. That is amazing. But the evolution of Cale Jacobson, the growth of Cale Jacobson, the maturity of Cale Jacobson, minutes matter. For him to get out there and put up 27 minutes. Again, put that in the book, right? Put that in the forecast book. Cale Jacobson is going to play 27 minutes against Northwestern. Ugh, is what we would have said. Not knowing that this is a good thing. And it gave Rink some time away from it. 13 offensive rebounds to 6 for Northwestern. Bravo, Huskers. Way to do the work.
Well, to your point, DP, they just do enough of the right things, even if they have other areas of the game that aren't just on that night, where things are just a little bit off. And in this case, it was the turnover margin. For a team that hovers around just 9 turnovers a game, I think they finished with 18. You look at that and it scare you a little bit, but they do enough of the other things right to end up on top of these games. And Cale Jacobson's point, I mean, it's not just like he, had a good night when things were easy. I mean, he had a couple back-to-back threes in big moments when the Huskers were really starting to try to distance themselves from Northwestern, and he was right there back-to-back. And on top of that, the defense. And I think you're 100% right. This is a defensive unit. It's uncomfortable playing this team for 2 halves. And you saw that with the Purdue game. For a 17-shot differential, they just barely got out of that thing. And it was a lot of defense in that second half where Nebraska kind of flipped the script on Purdue. And, that says a lot about a team's toughness. Not like his giving up offensive boards is a brutal thing. It's not like anybody out there wants that to happen, but to pick yourself up and continue to play defense despite not getting the rebound, you have to go back out there and play just as hard before that first shot went up. And then it was possessions where they were getting 2, 3 looks, 3 shot attempts, and Nebraska's defense had never dropped an ounce. And that's what's the story for that Purdue game, where that defense, it wasn't just, Purdue got cold. No, it was Nebraska making Purdue uncomfortable. They were doing what they always do in that Purdue game where, listen, we're not going to give you baseline. We're only going to give you threes, and it's not going to be a red carpet. We're still going to go out there and contest and try to rotate so it's still uncomfortable and we can move you off your base. And that's what makes this team so tough. And it can really help stop these runs that teams go on, because when that defense decides to lock down, where Lenz deserves a ton of credit, it's might be one of the tougher defenses to play against in the Big Ten because of just how collective they play. We can look at Michigan and Illinois or some of these other teams out there and say, well, maybe they have better athletes. I don't know if any of them communicate nearly as well as what Nebraska does. I mean, the way those guys move and rotate and understand each other's game and how to help each other, to me, that's where a lot of the beauty of this team is. And that's why I feel great about them. I say it all the time. When I look at March Madness, all I'm looking for is who's got good defense, because that always travels. And then we can get into the offense and everything else. But to me, that's an essential part of having a really good basketball team. And that is certainly true with this current team of the 2025-26 season.
Yeah, I found a lot of it for me with spots on the floor, keeping Northwestern from driving baseline on purpose, intercepting tons of entry passes to the middle, extra hands, busy hands on the backside. There was no slapping. There was more, dig. They say dig, don't reach, to come from under the ball, and that worked 4 times in the first half, where it threw some chaos into it. But it was big to think that, Nebraska shot 10 threes in the second half and hit 6. And this was the range. It was every time Northwestern looked like they were going to make a run, here comes a big 3 ball. And whether it was Prager or Price or Kale, somebody was knocking them down and making it matter. And then on another night, we keep talking about it, Bearcat was plus 17.
Yeah.
Bearcat was plus 17. And
he's a force out there on defense. You saw him at times, and he's a big part of not letting those teams go baseline on him, because Burkay does a really good job sliding his feet and forming up that wall. And he had a few blocks in there as well were just impressive, keeping it clean. He does a good job just not getting himself in foul trouble, because to play as tough and physical as he does, but do it in a clean manner, it's been big having Burkay Beryukanjal out on the floor. And I'm glad you're talking about him, because I don't know if he always gets the credit he deserves.
Well, he's a factor. He gets them out of a lot of trouble, and yes, he'll do some things every now and then where you just scratch your head and go, "Wow, Burkay, that's what we chose right there." But I think those are earned. 3 blocks, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, plus 17 in his 27 minutes on the floor. So to give it to you in the greater sense, Price was plus 25. He makes sense that he's putting up 29 points and doing his work. Sam's plus 24, right? And then Braid Frager's plus 22. So they went with the smaller lineup for chunks of time, right? Then you went to the even smaller lineup chunks of times where you had Kale and Frager and Sam on the floor at the same time. That's the thing, right? Being able to adjust those. They did get some late run from Blue Bowl to Garcia, which will be interesting down the stretch, right? That if you can find one more piece to eat up some of the Connor season minutes, I think this team has it has all the pieces to make a legitimate run in the Big Ten for the rest of the regular season, definitely for the tournament, because you just have to be hot for a weekend. And quite frankly, they're playing themselves into a double or triple bye. Not having to play until Friday would have, a 3-game tournament is much easier to win than a 5-game tournament. So, do it the easy way, folks. Win the rest of your regular season games, and then that starts with Iowa at Iowa City on Tuesday. It speaks a lot, and I don't think you want to go and lay an egg against Iowa. They're too close, and it means too much.
No, and I know that's going to be a big one. Shout out to Jeff Essink. He's heading out there. He's excited for it. I do believe we got Austin Norman going out there as well to have some coverage for it. So we'll have some eyes on that scene down there, and it should be a lot of fun. And we got to go to break here, but I'll say it again, because we could probably just play this on hour for a loop, in particular with the men's Nebraska basketball team. Enjoy the ride. I mean, again, we're sitting here 22-3. Nobody was anywhere close to that in their preseason projections. And those guys have found a way to get it done over and over and over. And the season's not done yet. And these guys don't look like they're tired of winning. So just enjoy the ride, as we keep saying here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll throw it to break. Don't go anywhere, though. Me and DP, we got one more segment right here, 93.7 The Ticket. This is The Breeze. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
At At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time. That's why we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, salt every fry, squeeze every lemon, and brew every ounce. We do this inside every Raising Cane's, every day. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and install quickly and professionally. Visit OakStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Oak Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into The Breeze final segment. Harrison runs on the ones and twos, as always. And a little bit of time left. DP, we said at the beginning, there's a million things to talk about. With only a few sparing minutes left to go, where do you want to finish up with?
A couple of things in the big week that is. And again, shout out, make sure that you follow the Huskers baseball and softball programs today. Big ball games again. Number 1, Texas Tech. They took over the number 1 spot when Nebraska knocked off number 1 Texas. So Texas Tech at number 2. They face number 3 Tennessee. Georgia's in the pool. Like this is pretty remarkable for baseball. It's an opportunity in Mesa to get some things done, and it's off to a good start. 2-0, big win later on today as well for them. But to send people en masse, Husker Nation needs to stand up and step up for the other programs. Those other programs. Listen, Peter Cobalt and the Huskers, Arkansas's in town, and they're still in doubles play, and it's a grind because all of these are tiebreaker 6-6 sort of situations in the doubles before they get to the singles. Ideally, you want the doubles point, just it gives you more wiggle room once you get to singles. But currently, Arkansas won first of the 3 doubles. The other 2 doubles matches are both 6-6 in tiebreak on the serve of Nebraska, but it's not going well. Opportunities. You don't want to miss opportunities to close out sets when you can. They were up 5-1 in one double at 6-6, and Arkansas ran off 6 straight points. To make it 5 straight points to make it 6-5. That's playing along. And the other 6-6 tiebreaker, Arkansas is currently up 5-1. So first point of it, we'll go into it. But if you're looking for something to do on a beautiful Sunday in Lincoln, head on down to Dillon Tennis Center and go check them out as they take on Arkansas. And they're having, Nebraska's having a great season there. Of course, Armando Magro and the ladies are doing their thing as well. So. Yeah, this is a great time. You got home game for the girls on Monday. Men go to Iowa City on Tuesday. Wrestling later this afternoon against Indiana. About
wrapped up now. Wrestling. We're gonna have that post game coming up next. Ridge Lovett should be on his way. So if you're looking for the recap on that,
I didn't want to tease that. I didn't want to throw all that away. I'd rather Ridge come in and handle the business. So,
yeah, we'll definitely have him and his wisdom and insight on it. But tell you what, DP, it's looking good. It is a good time to be a Husker. Certainly, I talk about time. I got down here in 2018. DP, we weren't having these conversations certainly in February when we got to spring the same way we are now. So, I mean, it's just a lot up and up. You can put the football program on the side because we got so many other great things to talk about on a daily basis. So shout out to all those sports, especially I don't even like calling them niche sports because they put in the same amount of work, but those guys are having a lot of success as well. So appreciate everybody listening. We got to get out of here though. Husker Wrestling post-match coming up next. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Harrison. That's DP.